Hello YouTube fans and subscribers. This is jwsolarusa. Today's video is about a SUNTEAMS 1.5 kilowatt of string inverters I have here for you guys. On yesterday's video, I was showing you guys the new 320 watt solar modules that I just ordered and came for the completion of the putting solar panels on a steel rooftop. So if you guys haven't seen the video, you get come across with this video, or this is just be recommended to you, I'll encourage you before you start to almost to the end, so that you will start watching the video from start. You can able to understand, and that will avoid a lot of questions about stuff. Or what about this? If you start asking a question about this device right here at, let me say for example, if it's the fourth video, it's not gonna make sense. So I encourage you to go back and watch the start of the video. So these are two modules, two devices I have here, which gonna be, one of them will have four 320 watt solar panels in series, which the voltage is gonna be higher and a lower amperage. So I'm expecting approximately around 300-400 watts. I can't give you the specs right now. I don't have those panels. I knew, and I don't have them right now with me here to go through the numbers. But this is how it's gonna look like. So like I told you guys yesterday, it's gonna be you guys saw the video with a 1.280 kilowatts of panels up there, which is the SUNTEAMS 160 solar panels. Okay, and now this other one's gonna be going, instead of having 8 of them, since they are 320, so it's just gonna be 2 panels of the 160 is 1 panel of this new ones, which is a 320. They're all gonna be going in series, which the 3 string will be facing some different directions, the way we want to target the sun and for the winter, and all of them gonna be blasting by noon or around that time. So this is what I have for you guys. So I'm gonna cut the talking and just pop the inverters for you guys to see exactly what is in there. These are brand new inverters that's gonna be going at my friend's house. Okay, which you already have one of these on, so it's gonna be 3. Each string you're gonna be seeing up that roof is gonna be one controller for it. So they're gonna be running independently. Though these devices can handle 2 strings on one inverter, but the problem is the amperage is lower. This is a 9 amps max. Okay, so you only have to do is you gotta run your panels in series for 1500, but you don't want to max it to 1500. You want to give the device to breathe and get choked up. Or for winter time, you tend to produce a lot of power because it's cooler. People might ask, how come? Winter is gonna be a lot of snow, but winter we do have some bright and sun, and just sometimes the ambience of the snow. If you're in a snow state, if you don't have snow, then you don't have to worry what I'm talking about here. But even that, on the efficiency, the heat drops. It's cooler, you know. And you know what causes resistance? Is heat. And you know what causes resistance? Too much of power running into the lines. Then you have smaller lines, which is the wires I'm talking about, the cables. If your cables are smaller, you tend to strain or restrain the flow of the electricity, the voltage on your lines. But like I told you guys, this channel is an educational channel that I want people to understand some of this little concept that that's why you don't need small wires. Though sometimes people say, oh, you're running on a high voltage, 48 volt or 100 and something volt. You know, if you have the money, I'll encourage you to spend on the wires, okay? This is the deal. Because, for example, if you end up having a system, let me say you have a 48 volt system, okay? Then you buried, let me say, a 10 gauge wire. Or some people say, I'll put a 12 gauge wire. But what about in the future? Then you get tired with the 48 volts because maybe on winter time you're not exposed to that kind of weather. You have a lot of shade and there's some problems. The voltage is higher, the amps are low, charging your batteries, and the sun is not there. And people then say, you know what, 48 volts is good, but it's not just for me. Though it's very efficient, high voltages are very efficient in low amps. But people will say, well, I'll switch back to 24 or 12 volts. So if you don't make the preparation, the foundation is not there, and you end up having to strip all those wires back out, especially if you bury them on a PVC or you bury it on the ground. You have to scrap that entire project and run new lines because you don't want to throw, maybe if you go back a 12 volt system or 24 volt system, well, the panels that you have, you tend to throw a lot of power, which is the current, a lot of current into the lines that you fry your wires. And because of that, you started generating heat at first. And by that, the wires can't even stand it anymore. And that comes the purpose of a proper fusing. If you don't have fuse, then the fuse would have blown first before the wire is going to melt. But now the fuse is not there. Or maybe the fuse is there, but the fuse is way too big. You know, the power can't cut the fuse, can't break the fuse. So instead, the wire started getting overheated and get so hot, and it started getting saggy, more than a temperature you can able to bear with your hands. There comes the fire. And especially when if they're close to each other, it comes spark. They started peeling, kaput. Started burning, the wires getting red. If you have a high voltage like battery bank or high voltage is coming with the amps on your on your solar array, then it short the circuit. Now it's gonna blow up the entire system. The heat and just the contact becomes so hard on the solar panels, and the diode's gonna fry right away. The blocking diodes. So if you guys don't understand, some of you guys who are new don't understand that there's a diode on the diodes on the panels. Yes, that's where that box is, the back of the box where the MC4 connectors are. So they have diodes there. So sometimes panels don't just die. I have one of my subscribers that asked me, got some panels, but the panels are not producing or giving out the rated amount of power they were saying, or the voltage. So the thing is, the voltage is sometimes you have like 4, it depends on the panels. 72 cells end up having like 6 blocking diodes on them. So if you open them, you will see, put a meter and test it. That means your diodes are gone. But it doesn't mean your panel is bad. Sometimes you just have to, because the diode acts just like a fuse thing. You know, the diode burnt out because they only take a one way. The current, the voltage, or whatever, the flow of electricity goes one way. It doesn't go back because they put the blocking diodes there to prevent your power loss at night. Because when the sun is gone, it doesn't. The diodes, I know they're just gonna drain your power reversing back to the solar panels. This is a good example with the people with wind turbines, and instead of that, the turbine or the windmill kept spinning. You think you're making power, so oh man, it's a lot of wind today. When you look at your battery bank, it's gone. So that's why you have to keep an eye, especially if you have a wind turbine, because that's how, if diode fail, that wind turbine acts like a motor, like a fan, like a house fan, a ceiling fan, spinning from your battery is already connected. It's just like a fan giving wind out there instead of the reverse making power. Okay, let's cut this one. That's not all. That's just like I told you, educational, so people can able to understand how important it is. So what I did, I put a very good wire that runs for these guys, because this guy is gonna stay on grid. It's not gonna go batteries. If it's gonna be a battery, it's gonna be another grid, another charge controller, and it's gonna be having inverter on these guys, but not these guys, another guys. So it's not gonna happen. The wire I put there is rated for 20 amps because it's sending on the leg 1 and leg 2. Okay, so going back to the breaker, it's supposed to be a 20 amps, so it'd be a 20 amp double throw breaker. So double throw breaker, so 20 is just like a 40 amp, because 20 on 1, 20 on 1. That's what this system is going to be throwing back according to the specs. So I have this all figured out, and the other one was working perfectly. And today, or all these past days, we decided just to keep adding, because of the it's using more power, and it's not even spinning the meter backwards. And the meter, when we were counting at first before the system went live, you can say 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004 to 5. You can, because he still had the old system meter. Then you see the real, that big wheel comes back, the black dots comes back to the center. So it's just about 4 to 5. So when we install one of these guys there, the other 1.5 kilowatt with 8 high-tech solar panels, which are rated for almost approximately 9 amps on them, is slowing the meter. Is now we can count from 1001 to 1025 if the sun is out, even though it's not even out, because I didn't even have the opportunity to see how that really went up to the 1,000 watts of power, or 1,200, which is really hard to see. Well, this is the game here, folks. Sorry, because I have the camera on one spot, but you know, sometimes this one's just gonna be, you know, by listening, you're just not watching these white boxes in front of me. But I try to clarify some of this other stuff here. I know a lot of you guys who already know the game, who already know all about this. It's like, oh yeah, come on, speed up, JW. But the thing is, yeah, this is for everybody. You know, if you don't want to hear this other part that this educational thing I'm giving, you can fast forward the video and get to the point. Okay, just for newcomers, just for the people who never done this before, they will probably didn't even realize that. So this is the thing. Okay, all right, I think the explanation is already over. It's 14 minutes, but I'm gonna be showing you now the inverters as we unbox them live here at the JW Solar USA. There we go. Let's Getting exciting. Yeah. You know, who doesn't like new stuff or any solar gift or whatever, something like this. You know, if you can afford it, you know, it's a very expensive hobby. It's nice. It's fun, but it's a very expensive hobby. I'm not lying to you guys. You know, if you're not prepared for it, you know, I would say take your time. Be prepared. Okay? All right, my friend. These are these are the kind of a little bit the weight and spec right there. This is the inverter we're dealing with right now. The SUNTEAMS TEAMS 1500. So they even have them. They manufacture them all the way to 5K. It doesn't indicate on this box, but I've seen a 5K online. Another guy is selling that. You know, that's the road we're about to go. But my friend, you just like to have single devices, just like when you have, for example, you have a TV that is a combo. It has a DVD built in, well, DVD, Blu-ray, or whatever, and the television itself. So if it happens, the television went kaput, or the Blu-ray or DVD part of it, and it's worthless. You know, sometimes when one of the components go bad, everything goes down. So he likes to have individual. Everything runs independently. So if something happened, it just can disturb the entire system. We can remove. So we would have put like a 5K. That's what it's gonna do. I was gonna put a 5K into this and take all those panels, 16 panels, just slam them all the way in. So that voltage would have been probably around 450 to 480 or 500 volts. It depends to the inverter. Okay. All right, folks. This is how they look alike, identical. This is one box here, and that's another box here. Came with the manual. The manual is here. Everything is here, and a warranty card in here. So I'm just gonna show you guys the internal, maybe the inverter themselves. So stay tuned. Oh, speaking about it, before I skip the thing, these are the mounts that goes on the wall that you can mount this device from here. That's how the device is gonna hook onto. It's kind of metal. I don't know what kind of metal is that, but I don't want to skip that part. You know, someone will say, what was that? And here are the screws, bolts, and harness. This is like the communication thing. You can have a Wi-Fi into this one, Bluetooth compatibility, and you can connect a computer into this one, and you can even able to series this stuff. You know, you can put them together. They all can talk together. Like if you want to have a 3-phase or 2 or whatever, you can extend these modules the way you want them. Well, it seems like everything is here. Everything is perfectly protected and really wrapped well, secure. So these are the inverters here, brand new, 0 miles on them, 0 miles, identical. The package, everything is the same. So you guys can see here. So I only have 2 hands. One is doing the camera, and I just have to hold the thing, the camera, so I can flip this thing over, show you guys the specs. But if you already seen my other video before, is they're all the same. Okay. All right, guys. This is the communication port I was telling you guys about. These guys right here. This is where they connected here, and this side you can use the RS-232. That's where you can connect the computer. You can be able to put it online on the computer. You can able to monitor, you can able to do some tweaking and all that good stuff. I know if you're a guy who like to monkey around, you like to have everything the way it was put in a default, you want to tune it. Yeah, it's fun. That's why when you buy high-end stuff, these are the important, these are the fun part having a high-end product, because you can able to mess with it, you can able to tweak it, you can set your parameters the way you want. Okay. So right here is where you can have the DC, the PV coming from the array in, and you can see, okay, right here. Sorry, is upside down. So that's the PV. Here is gonna be the AC. They just have the sign. This sign represents AC. Okay, it's a DC, just has a little strokes on it, a line and a little dot, but that's an AC sign. It tells you that's an AC. That's the PV right there. So this cover pops. Take this cover out. That's where the wire goes in. Put the wires in. This thing cover pops. I've done it on the other one. See, there's a hole there. That's where the wires go in. And just go about your thing. And from there, it has a huge heat sink. See the heat sink right here? Sorry, my friends, it's kind of it's a black heat sink, so it's really hard to see on the camera with all the lighting I have here. And I'll show you guys. I'll open one of these communication things so you guys can see exactly what it is. Okay. Well, the cover is out, so I'm gonna show you. See that? It's just like a RGB, like a port for like if you have your monitor for your computer, it's almost the same. The only thing, this is it has a 9 pins on them instead of the other ones have 19. This is 9. This is 5 at the top and 4 at the bottom. So this is where you plug the thing for the communication. You can connect this part direct to your computer, and you can able to go through the brain of this thing and tweak whatever you want to tweak into the system. Here is the communication port for the Bluetooth device, so you can able to get into it. So this is how it looks like. For this one, it has 4 pins on it, and here comes another one right here, another 4 pins right there. So the device I showed you guys earlier, this one's here, connects to that particular port. Okay, different device has a different configurations, depend to the manufacturer. Alright folks, we're back in business. I just want to let you guys know this side of the ports are not going to be utilized for communication. None of that's going to happen, because this guy doesn't like monkeying around. He just want to plug and play, put the thing there. He doesn't have to even go back and look at it. He doesn't even care. You know, he doesn't have the kind of passion like we do for this. All he wants is his power, and all he wants that is saving money, and all he wants is you know, he can, you know, you don't have to pay that electricity bill. So for you and I, the guys high tech or like to mess around with things, we will definitely utilize these ports right here. You know, especially like series in them, this parallel or series in them, it's like it would have been a lot of fun. Okay, but it's not gonna do it. So I'm not gonna worry about this part anymore, because it's not gonna do it. And this is this device are going at a bond is bound right there, so it's not gonna have any communication or Wi-Fi, no computers. So that's a workplace, so he doesn't want to deal with anything that's gonna distract him from doing his job or whatever he's gonna do there, and mess around with this kind of stuff. No, he doesn't want to do that. So I just want to let you guys know, because maybe you guys will ask me questions about it. Well, I'm answering the question right now, unless he changes his mind. If he changes his mind, then you guys can see it on the video. Well, folks, these are the specs I'm gonna be showing you guys here. I know it's gonna be backwards for you guys, or sideways reading. This is what I was telling you guys earlier. If you can look at, so the input from the PV is a 450 volt DC. You know, the operating input range of input operating voltage, it starts, this device kicks in at 110, then that's the time the MPPT is kicking, started working. And it has a dual MPPT, so it started working on 110 to 430. See, that's what I was telling you earlier. You don't want to max up this thing, choke it up. You know, it has a thing to breathe. So these are the specs. And see, the input short circuit, you can have like a panels are really like producing more at that time. It's gonna go, it can handle the surge for up to about 24 amps, but the basic thing is running at is a 9 amps, you know, continuous. So that's why you have to wire the panels in series. And if you have any panels that are higher than the 10 amps or higher than the 9 amps, that will be a no-no, because you want to keep the current to stay below this 9, not to go above unless for a short time. That's why you have a 24, just like a peak time. It's not going to stay there for a long time, for just a short time. So that's why you don't have, when you're about to do this kind of thing, you have to really plan. If it's an inverter, buy the inverter first, and from there you can able to know what panels you're using on them. Or you buy the panels first, but maybe you got a good deal, then try to find an inverter that is going to go with the specs like this, or else you're in so much trouble. Okay, see the continuous, this is what I was saying, the continuous current this device can handle. Look at that here. It takes from 8.2 to 7.2. So you don't want to max them to 9. You know, these panels are all about 8 point something to 9, but that's the open circuit. So they're not going to be staying at 9. And even if you hit the 9, it's still, it has a 24. This thing can handle for a short time. And the panels can constantly giving you 9 amps constantly. No, it's not gonna happen. It's just a peak time. Well, this is how I'm gonna wrap up this video, folks, and this is another good video for you guys. If you like, please subscribe and comment. And if you know more about this thing I don't know about, well, this channel, like I told you guys, an educational channel. You know, we can discuss about things. You know, remember, I'm really busy guy, but you know, I can answer questions. If I will already answer them once or twice, you just go through the reviews and you can see what people say. But if you have a new thing or whatever you want to throw input there, I'll check it out and look at it, because I'm still busy. I have more installations to cover before the end of this year. Like I told you guys on the other video, if you haven't watched that, go ahead and look at it. The upgrade into the 2.5 something kilowatt of solar panels, the 8 panels that came, and you guys can see my next installation. Please stay tuned, because this channel is going to be bringing you all the latest and all installation upgrades and video updates with JW Solar USA. Time is running out, because pretty soon it's going to be fall here and it's going to be cold, and I'm not going to be working outside to do all this kind of stuff I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna be doing only the internal parts, you know, inverters, batteries, and configuration, wiring inside the house, because Minnesota is really cold. The land of 10,000 lakes, and this is John, JW Solar USA John, and thank you for watching. Love you guys all, and stay safe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. and God bless you guys all. I hope to catch you guys on the next video. Bye bye now.